What's up, Capricorn? This is Jesse with 44 Astro with a super new moon solar eclipse tarot reading. What a mouthful. This is for the new moon and solar eclipse occurring on 4/8/24. It's going to be at 2:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be at 19 degrees Aries, which puts it in the second mansion of the moon. I will put a picture of the second mansion of the moon up and you can read about it. It's a good time to ask for a raise or to go to someone in authority and ask for a favor. But it's really all about being confident and resolving conflicts. Nothing will come of this situation is the card that you have. The astrology. Okay, this is going to take some time to explain. This is a solar eclipse. A solar eclipse is when the moon blocks the light of the sun. Okay? So think of the sun as your ego, your outer world, your person, not your personality, that's more of your ascendant. Your mission in life, your ego, how you relate to things. And your inner world is your moon. It's your unconscious aspects as well as your mind and even emotions, the inner aspects of yourself. At this time, the dark aspects are about to block out the conscious light aspects, right? It's going to force us to focus on the darkness. So what is this representative of? So in the yogic traditions or in tantric traditions, Hindu traditions, they believe that during solar eclipses, one could grow spiritually at an exponential rate. This is because it's essentially an entire year taking place in a single celestial event. So all of our religions basically worship the solstices, right? That's the whole aspect. That's why the resurrection of Jesus Christ, Easter, is celebrated in spring. It's because that is when the sun is making things grow again, and the days are getting longer. There's more light. Things are growing. Things are coming alive. And in the winter, that's the death, right? It's the death and the resurrection. It's an entire year essentially taking place in one single moment and celestial event. So a lot of growth can happen. So it's a good time for meditation, for fasting, whatever your spiritual practice is. Now, on top of the sun and the moon being exactly conjunct with zero orb at 19 degrees, it has to be for an eclipse, Chiron the asteroid is sitting directly at 19 degrees Aries as well. What is Chiron? In mythology, Chiron was a centaur, a teacher, a healer, and is represented by the wounded healer. He taught Ophiuchus, which was able to heal so well that people stopped dying. He made them immortal. This upset Hades. Hades went to Zeus. Zeus struck down Ophiuchus, and they put him in the sky as a constellation. That constellation, coincidentally, is in between Scorpio and Sagittarius and is that dark spot, our 13th sign of the zodiac. It's a very occult spot in the zodiac. The reason I know so much about it is because that's where my planets are. Ophiuchus is holding a snake, wrestling with the snake, which is wrestling with the aspects of the material world. And Hercules' foot is on top of the head of the serpent, which is representing trying to overcome that. And then there's actually a little eagle constellation. And if you notice, these are all things associated with Scorpio. And it's in between Scorpio and Sagittarius. And it's above it. And that's the higher aspects of humanity. Now, the reason Chiron was the wounded healer, he taught Hercules, one of the two. And he had an arrow dipped in the venom of the Hydra. And one of those arrows accidentally hit Chiron. But he was immortal, so he could not die. But he also could not heal from the venom. So he was a wounded healer. And he also has a constellation in the sky. Now, what does this represent in astrology, Jesse? And what's its meaning, deeper meaning? So on the mundane level, and we're going to talk about mundane and sacred, Chiron is an individual, if it's like on your ascendant or like really prominent in your chart, as an individual, it's probably going to be sickly, has ailments throughout their whole life, has a hard time healing from them. Or as an individual that's a hypochondriac, does not want to get sick at all costs and will take all precautions to not get sick. It'll manifest in one, two of those ways. Now, where Chiron is located is an asteroid in between Uranus and Saturn. Okay? Saturn on in. Saturn and all the planets in, getting closer to the sun. Their orbits are short enough, even Saturn at approximately 30 years. You'll see it multiple times in a general lifetime of a human. And Jupiter's 12 years, and it gets less and less as you get further in. Because they move so much and so often, they represent the individual because there's so much different variation and nuance. And so it creates a lot of individual and unique people because it moves so much. So the aspects will be different. The placements will be different because it moves a lot throughout an individual lifetime. But the outer planets, on the other hand, move very slowly. You will not you're not going to see an entire revolution of the outer planets in a single lifetime. It just doesn't happen. People don't live that long. So it represents the collective. It represents the other half, the sacred half, the aspect of it being about everyone as a whole and not just self. So Saturn on in is the individual mundane aspects of a human, their psyche and their attributes. Uranus on out is the collective, sacred, spiritual connection of everything together. And Chiron is right in between there. That's why he's a key. He's represented by a key because he's the bridge, the key between the mundane to the sacred, bringing them together. That's also what a solar eclipse is. A solar eclipse is forcing the shadow aspects, the lunar inner aspects of ourselves into a channel with the ego outer solar aspects. That's why when you see the alchemical symbols, you see a sun and the moon always, right? Because it's emerging an opening of a channel. That's what enlightenment is when those two channels, the sun and the moon, are open together and the individual is reborn as something else because they have broken down who they were and merged the inner and outer selves in a balance and it became something new. That's why it's all about rebirth. And you see the Christ story over and over again, and it's just sun worship. It's what it is. It's really sun and Saturn worship. It's because they're each side of the same coin, right? And if you watch my Saturn video, you would understand that. It's a long video, but it's got a lot of good information. So right now with the celestial event that's occurring, we have a solar eclipse, which is going to force us into the light. We have a chance anyway to merge the light and dark aspects and open up that channel. And that's what enlightenment is, to get the eye, get the new sight. When you merge this, that's why you see a sun and a moon in the eye. You merge them together, you get the new sight. And Chiron is a bridge and a healer to do that. When we open up into that darkness and those repressed and dark aspects of ourselves, Chiron will help us feel it and heal and grow as a wounded healer, because it's our own wounds that will have to be grown, because we'll have to look at ourselves. This is a great opportunity to do that. It's also where we can merge the mundane to the sacred, the individual to the collective, the material to the spiritual. That's what the bridge is. That's what Chiron represents. That's why he's a key. He's the key to it. Is a big total picture. And the sun is very powerful right now because he's exalted in Aries. And there are three, and I use the Western system, so there are 3 decans in each sign, 30 degrees in each sign. So 10 degrees, and then to 20 degrees, and then to 30 degrees, the 3 different decans. The second decan of Aries is ruled by the sun. So the sun is going to be very powerful there. The moon is also a supermoon, which means it's as close in orbit as it can get to the Earth. An elliptical orbit, so the ends are going to be further out, and on the sides it's going to be closer. Supermoon is when it's as close to the moon as it gets, so it's going to be powerful. And it's going to happen on a Monday, which is Moon's Day. So it's also very powerful. This is a very strong celestial event. And it's in Aries, which rules war. What's going on in our world right now? There's a war in Ukraine, a war in Palestine that could escalate. And it's possible that could happen because we're about to be really focused on that. I mean, we already are, but the light's going to be focused on that. We're going to see the darkness that's going on with that. And either it's going to force us into a resolution in our world, and we're like, hopefully it does, or it's going to expand and get worse. It's going to manifest in one of the two ways. And that's just kind of the nature of Aries, and that's what's going on. But it's also, we have a chance for individual growth as well as growth in the collective. That's what the Rainbow Bridge can do. Okay, with that being said, Capricorn, I'm done explaining all of this now, except one thing. If you are Capricorn ascendant, you're looking at your 3rd or 4th house. So this may be affecting, if you're Capricorn ascendant, your 3rd house is communication. So there may be some kind of transformation or something you feel that there's a sickness in the way that you communicate or speak, and it has to be healed. Or you do heal through your speech, or you hurt someone, make someone sick through your speech, that type of thing. Or communication, or the way you learn even. 4th house is the house of home or mother. Some of you may find out that your mom is sick, or that something happens to your home, like weather event or something, and that forces a healing, or your mother is healed, or you get a new home, or you heal your home in some way, or rebuild, or add something to your home. Those types of things can all be there. But anyway, that's only if you're Capricorn ascendant. If you don't know your ascendant, you need to know the time you were born, because the ascendant is going to set all your houses, and it changes every 2 hours approximately. So there's a lot of variation there as well. Okay. Nothing will come of this situation, Capricorn. Hopefully it's not talking about me ranting about all this. Unlikely. You'll know what the situation is. It's going to be different for different Capricorns. Something that you're focusing on right now. It looks like something that you're working on. It's saying nothing's going to come from it. Looks like it looks like you're working on something, but you're being combative or you're being competitive about it, or you're being very protective over it for some reason. You have 2 sevens on top of each other. 7, 7. That's a destiny number. Actually, you have 3 sevens. So 7, 7, 7. You may be very lucky right now, or destiny may be at play right now, Capricorn. You'd say nothing will come of this situation, but you got the 3 sevens. You got the 7 of rods, 7 of cups, and 7 of pentacles. And the 7 of swords. You have all sevens. All the sevens. This is a 7, 7, 7, 7 reading. Yeah, it's destiny. Oh, yeah. You have the other 7 as well. Wow. You have all the sevens. Every single 7 in the deck is on this table. All of them. 7 times 4 is 28. 28 is a perfect number in the occult if you look it up. I'm not going to go and explain all that. It's going to take a little time to do that as well. If you study the occult and you understand numbers, 28 is the first perfect number. Look that up and it'll explain it to you. Okay, and 28 also equals 10, which is completion. So it looks like you're being defensive about some ideas that you have. It's keeping you defensive. Something about your thoughts or some kind of ideas that you have. You're like trying to keep them to yourself. But it's saying nothing's going to come from this situation. You've worked very hard on something in the recent past, and you are still working on something. Capricorn is the sign of work. Capricorn is a very hard-working sign. You are crowned by this. This is being materially well off. Also probably respected. This is all Capricorn things. It's a Taurus card, but Capricorn's an earth sign. It's the oldest earth sign, and it represents work. And that's your conscious influence. You are trying to, at the very least, appear this way. Or you want to be respected, looked at as someone of means. Reputation, strong reputation. Or just be looked at as someone that's very valuable. Or there's another earth sign or boss that's in your life, and this is what's crowning you. And this may be who you're defensive about. The unconscious, this is a knight, so this is movement generally, an opportunity. Some kind of emotional, unconscious influence. So you may be, Capricorns aren't really known for being very emotional. Saturn is not an emotional planet. In fact, it's very cold and dry. So most Capricorns, while Capricorns is known to be moody, they're more very even keel almost always. So you're probably very balanced or very calm emotionally, which is a good thing. Man, all the sevens. This is like some big destiny stuff. You're working on something. You've been trying to plant the seeds. You're trying to plant the seeds right now, but you're being defensive. It's like you're holding your ideas back, or you don't want anybody taking off of you. Like you don't want anybody to take anything from you, like your ideas or what you've created. But that's just the nature of people. It's interesting how something gets created and you'll see like a bunch of other things that are like the same thing get created at the same time. Or it's a competition at work and you're trying to like move up in work or trying to move up in society and life. And like you really are holding back in order to not, it's like you're waiting for the perfect time. But I think you need to kind of stop holding back. I think you just got to kind of put it out there. Move forward like this knight's doing. Whatever you're working on, move forward. Like you've been planting the seeds. You know what you have been working on. You're looking down at it. You're like, I've been working on all this. But you're not presenting it forward for some reason. You're afraid of it being stolen. You're afraid of being sabotaged or backstabbed in some way. But that's not going to get you anywhere. You're going to do your due diligence for sure. But it's saying nothing will come of this situation. So I think you just have to kind of go for it. The advice, Queen of Cups. Some of you could have water in your chart, or it's saying nurture this. This is what this queen does. She nurtures. But there also could be a water sign in your environment that can help you in this situation, an ally. It can help you with the work that you're doing, and you can trust them. Because the advice is saying either trust this person or just put it out there and nurture what you got. And your quality and your work will show either way, because the outcome is victorious. You are victorious. You're moving forward. You're going to win. So I think you need to kind of stop being defensive on whatever this situation is. If you're holding back from another individual for some reason because you're worried about them, and that's what it looks like. You're worried about this kind of thing, and this may be around you, and you may be well aware of it. Backstabbing, secrets, but there's also an individual around you that you can trust. Seek this person out. It's going to be a watery individual. They don't necessarily have to be a water sign to be watery. It's just going to be like a sweet, nurturing person. And this person you can trust. Or it's saying that you need to be this person and nurture what you have. Because this kind of energy is always going to exist, right? You don't want to do anything reckless and just give away what you've worked so hard on. Even if it's just like a promotion or anything like that. And Capricorn is the hardest working sign in the zodiac. No doubt about it. If they want to be, they are the hardest working. They're after the prestige. They're after the levels up. The respect. They want it. And this could be the person you're worried about. The water sign. It could be the person that you're worried about. But it looks like you're coming away victorious. You're gonna move forward, and you're gonna accomplish it. You got to get out of whatever this frame of mind is. This confusion, this defensiveness. Don't be confused. Don't be defensive. The advice is be sweet, be compassionate, be nurturing. And it's going to help you accomplish exactly what you're trying to accomplish. Okay, Capricorn, that's all I have. Please consider liking, subscribing, and commenting. You don't have to if you don't want to, but it will help me get the watch hours I need, because if I get likes, subscribes, and comments, they'll push the videos more, and I get the viewers. That's what I'm lacking the most. That's the only thing I need right now is watch hours. And if I don't get it by July, it all resets. It's all for naught. But either way, you don't have to if you don't want to. I'm just grateful that you're here, and I hope you have a good solar eclipse and new moon. Bye, Capricorn.